Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am super excited today to share an angel message with you. And first, I'm going to start with what are the top themes of this message. And the very central message of this particular angel message that I channeled is that separation from God's source, divine light, is an illusion of our earthly existence. They also talk about how your angels and your spirit guides are always with you. So they're going to give us a little more about that, how we are continually surrounded by loving spiritual support, and that our soul originates in divine light and ultimately returns to that same divine light. So I am Julie Clough. I'm your host. I am a spiritual medium and an intuitive, and I offer mediumship readings and intuitive readings. But I had a very profound spiritual awakening after the passing of my two youngest children in a car accident on Mother's Day in 2007. It was a healing process that resulted in a miraculous healing experience that resulted in an awakening to my spirit, God, divine light, all of that, that I was totally not expecting, and especially was not expecting to be connected as I am now to the other side, um, to my loved ones and being able to connect for other people's loved ones and being able to channel these messages from an angelic collective who call themselves the Council of Wisdom. So that is where the message is coming from. I connect to the angels, this angel collective, like I said, who calls themselves the Council of Wisdom. And what I do in these videos, if you haven't been here before, is I'm going to share the channeled message. This one is slightly longer than usual, but not by much. And then I'm going to talk about the message that came through, and we'll go through it paragraph by paragraph. So without further ado, here's the message. We are here. We are here to assist you to ascend to the highest level of the experience that you have chosen at this time, at this time, at this time, and in this lifetime, and in this iteration of your experience. For each and all are experiencing their lifetime in the manner in which they have planned and in the manner in which they have executed their plan. We wish to bring to your attention at this time the many spirits and the guides that surround you, surround your earth, surround the experience here upon earth. So many, so many, so many think that they are alone, and yet we remind you, you are never alone. You are never alone, for we are with you. We are with each and every soul upon the earth, for each and every human, each and every person upon the earth is a soul, and at the heart level of their soul, at the heart level of their physical form, at the heart level of their physical experience, they are attached to the energy of their soul. Their soul, your soul, their soul is connected to all that is always connected to the divine light. For you are always connected to the divine light by a cord, a filament of light and love, for within you lies the light and love that you brought from your home, from your heavenly home, from your experience within the divine light. For each are divine light brought from the heavens to the earth, to the dimension in which you exist now. And your earthly, your physical experience here disconnects you, separates you, or causes the illusion of separation from the eternal, from the divine. And yet you are always, always, always connected. We would suggest that it is much like a phone line. You are always connected. When you search within your heart, when you quiet your being, when you sit in stillness, you feel the reachings of the divine into your heart. You feel these reachings. And many of you, those who are listening, are reaching back and are connecting, are forming that connection, are nurturing that connection between the divine and all that is and yourself, for you are always connected. There is never a separation in the line. It is a piece of your illusion in this experience to feel the separation, to sense the separation, to think of yourself as separated from the divine, and yet you never are. And this is what we wish to bring to you today is this remembrance. We wish for you to remember, to sink into the remembering that you are of the light. You are of the light. You are not separated from the light, for you are a part of the light. You always will be. You will return to the light. And all souls in which you have experienced have returned to the light when they return from the body and their spirit lifts from the physical realm to the spirit. When they set down the physical realm, they return to the light of their soul, the light of their soul, of which they are a part and always are a part. And this, we hope, will bring much comfort, much comfort, much comfort to all as you consider the passing of those who you have lost. And we also remind you that this is your destination. This is your heritage. This is your home. The light is your home. This is who you are at the core of your being. And we wish for you to acknowledge that light within you, acknowledge the spirit within you, acknowledge the presence of the energy which exists within you and is always connected, always connected. We are always a part of your experience as angels, as guides. We are forever part of your experience. There is never a time when you are alone. And this is the remembrance that we bring to you this day with much love, with much compassion, and with much comfort. And with this, we say goodbye. Okay, like I always ask, what did you think? What was your gut reaction to the messages that they shared? What were some of the new things that you heard? What were some of the things that you've heard before that like hit differently? Or how did this message cause you to feel? So I really want you to pay attention to that because everyone is going to respond differently and going to receive different messages because we're all individuals and that's as it should be. So let's start talking about this paragraph by paragraph. The first paragraph is we are here. We are here to assist you to ascend to the highest level of the experience that you have chosen at this time, at this time, at this time, and in this lifetime and in this iteration of your experience. For each and all are experiencing their lifetime in the manner in which they have planned and in the manner in which they have executed their plan. Okay, this very first paragraph I found so interesting because not only are they referring to the this ascension, our human brains wrap around the ascension and go, "Oh my gosh, we're like all this stuff is happening and yes, and we're just living our human life." I frankly have been a little exhausted by the talk of ascension, not from my guides and angels, but just in the general, like, what's going on in the spiritual world and a lot of like so often, I don't know if you're finding this, but so often, because I do follow a lot of spiritual teachers and I enjoy it, but so often I see these messages that are like, this is the beginning of August. And so I'm seeing all these messages. August is going to change everything. Yes, and is it really going to change everything? I'm just being more for myself, and maybe you are too, but for myself, I'm being a little more cautious of ramping up my nervous system and causing me to think that, something is going to happen that's going to change everything. Like that just doesn't sit well with our nervous system. And so allowing ourselves to just recognize that our angels, our guides, all that is really creating a flow for us to move in the direction that's correct for us. And so I love this first paragraph because they're talking about like we're having the experience that we have chosen. We chose, you chose, I chose at this time, in this lifetime, in this moment. And we are having this experience in the way that we planned and in the way that we are executing that plan. So if you're struggling right now, this is hard to like wrap our head around, but nothing has gone wrong. You are being invited to move through challenges for greater spiritual muscle, for greater spiritual understanding and experience. There's no easy answers if you're having a challenging time. If things are going smoothly for you right now, don't panic. Don't panic thinking that something is going to happen within the next month, the next 2 months, within the next 6 months that's going to set your world on fire. I think, yes, like if we look back, let's look back before 2020. I mean, before 2020, the world for me felt and was a little different. So, yeah, there's things that are happening that are bringing us forward in new ways, but I also don't think we need to panic. Panic doesn't serve us at all. So I just wanted to say that kind of upfront. So the second paragraph says, we wish to bring to your attention at this time the many spirits and the guides that surround you, surround your earth, surround the experience here upon the earth. So many, so many, so many think that they are alone. And yet we remind you, you are never alone. You are never alone, for we are with you. Again, the message that we are so enveloped in love and spirit. And when we look out into the world and we see all the emergencies and we see the things that are happening in the world that we wish weren't happening, it can feel like we're not surrounded by that. It can feel like we are alone. But they really, really, really want us to connect to this idea that we are not alone, that we have not been left here alone, that we are never alone, and neither is anyone else. And that is part of some of the rest of the message that they shared with us. So connecting with that divine light, that divine love, and the message continues from there. They go on to say, we are with each and every soul upon the earth, for each and every human, each and every person upon the earth is a soul. And at the heart level of their soul, at the heart level of their physical form, at the heart level of their physical experience, they are attached to the energy of their soul, your soul. Their soul is connected to all that is always connected to the divine light, for you are always connected to the divine light by a cord, by a filament of light and love. And when those words came through, I saw this. It was a shining, bright, golden alive. Like there was spirit in that chord. It was a chord of vibration. It was a chord of life. And it was the way I see it, it's hard to describe exactly, but it's like a chord of vibrant life that is vibrating and living. And it's very, in my eyes, it's very golden. It's a filament of golden light. Okay. So they go on to say, for within you lies the light and love that you brought from your home, from your heavenly home, from your experience within the divine light. For each and each are divine light brought from the heavens to the earth, to the dimension in which you exist now. And your physical experience here disconnects you, separates you, or causes the illusion of separation from the eternal, from the divine, and yet you're always, always, always connected. This divine light, we brought it with us. We brought it with us. And the image that's coming to my mind right now is much like a diver, like a deep sea diver, where they're connected by a cord. That they have that. I don't even know what it's called, you guys. I don't even know what it's called, but they have essentially like a lifeline to the boat where they're receiving oxygen and so forth. And yeah, and what they're sharing with me right now, and this is kind of an odd way of thinking about it, but what they're sharing with me right now is like that we each have this lifeline. It's like the oxygen, we without oxygen, we don't live. Without that lifeline to spirit, we don't live. And when our, this is a strange way to think about it, but each of us came here with they're equating it to the oxygen tank. And some of us came with a very large oxygen tank, and we're meant to be here for 80, 100 years. And others of us came with a much smaller oxygen tank, like my children came, and they were here for 8 and 10 years. My brother came, and he was here for 23 years. So it's this idea that we came with a certain plan. We left the boat, if we want to think of the boat as our spiritual or heavenly home, excuse me, our heavenly home, and then we dove to this with that lifeline, dove to this existence, and eventually our time here ends. And from our earthly perspective, we don't want anybody's lifetime to end. We want everybody to stay here. We want everyone to be healthy. We want everything to work out perfectly. But that's not what we came here for. And this is what we're being asked to kind of wrap our head around. But we are never separate. The separation is the illusion of our earth life here. So they go on with a particular illustration. We would suggest that it is much like a phone line. You are always connected. When you search within your heart, when you quiet your being, when you sit in stillness, you feel the reachings of the divine into your heart. You feel these reachings, and many of you, those who are listening, are reaching back and are connecting, are forming that connection, are nurturing that connection between the divine and all that is and yourself, for you are always connected. Okay, so the way this comes through as I receive this is that the phone line, it's like on their end, the line is always open. If we think about cell phones, like they're always on. And sometimes we set down our phone on our end, but we're never disconnected. We just set it down. We set it aside. Or if you think about the old landlines, right, where they're on the phone, the line is completely open. No matter how you look at it, the line is completely open to them. It's what are we doing on our end? Are we setting the phone down? Are we bringing it to our ear? And one of the aspects of this that I always like to remind myself and others is that we're meant to live this physical life, and we're not meant to be always on the phone with our loved ones who have passed. We're not meant to be um, always bringing our full attention to the spirit realm. We keep the landline open, and as I've suggested before, it's like I tell my guides, like, if there's something really important, get my attention. And also, I'm going to connect on a regular basis. And also, I know it's okay for me to not be 100% focused there. I'm telling you, sometimes my world gets a little funky because after I do like a day of readings, I'll go down in the kitchen and I'll be doing things, and even this past week, I don't think I've shared this before, but even this past week, all I know is in the silverware drawer pulling out a spoon or something. And I remember I was standing there and I asked my husband a question about our schedule, and he said, "You already asked me that. I just answered that." And I was like, okay, like I am like not fully grounded. That's when I realized that I've gone like, I've spent my day in the spirit realm bringing messages through for people, and I need to ground myself and like pay attention to what's happening right here, right now. So, yeah, we're not meant to be 100% in the spirit world at all times, but also this message they're talking about, they're reaching towards us, like they're here, they're making that connection, and we're reaching towards them. And many of you are reaching back and you're making those connections. But also remember, you're a physical being, be a physical being. Okay, next paragraph. There is never a separation in the line. It is a piece of your illusion in this experience to feel the separation, to sense the separation, to think of yourself as separated from the divine, and yet you never are. And this is what we wish to bring to you today is this remembrance. We wish for you to remember, to sink into the remembering that you are of the light. You are of the light. You are not separated from the light, for you are a part of the light. You always will be. Okay. The separation is an illusion. We are always part of the light. It is always right here. It is always within us. We can feel it more directly sometimes than other times. But just that remembering that we are never separated and that we are always part of the light just feels good. Okay. All right. So the next paragraph, I love this paragraph. You will return to light, and all souls in which you have experienced have returned to the light when they return from the body, and their spirit lifts from the physical realm to the spirit. When they set down the physical realm, they return to the light of their soul, the light of their soul of which they are a part and always are a part. And this, we hope, will bring much comfort, much comfort, much comfort to all as you consider the passing of those who you have lost. There's so many aspects of this, but it's just this idea that when our spirit separates from our body at the end of our life, at the end of our term here, uh, when our body, when our soul, our spirit, I should say, separates from our body, we return back to the soul. We return back to the divine light. And this is true whether someone has lived what we deem a good life, a spiritual life, or whether they haven't. People who I mean, there's so many spiritual experiencers who say, I didn't believe in any of this. I didn't believe in an afterlife. I had a near-death experience, and then I was brought back into the light. So this is remembering that we are all souls and we are all going to be brought back into divine light. Even the soul that doesn't recognize the connection to the divine light while they're here, that cord, that filament, that divine light brings them back in to their heavenly home. So the next paragraph says, and we also remind you that this is your destination. This is your heritage. This is your home. The light is your home. This is who you are at the core of your being. And we wish for you to acknowledge that the light within you, acknowledge the spirit within you, acknowledge the presence of the energy which exists within you and is always connected, always connected. They're bringing our remembrance back to acknowledging the spirit within us, the light within us, the presence of the energy that's within us is always connected, always. So just another connection to that. You know, and what they're bringing to my attention right now is we have all had experiences where we feel bad, like we blew it. We feel bad, like we hurt somebody badly, or we did something that maybe within our spiritual um, knowledge or within even like a religious knowledge is like that's it's almost like that's cutting our cord to the divine. But what they're reminding us is that there is no separation. And even in those times when we wish we had done better, when we wish we had done differently, it does not separate us from the divine light. It causes us the pain of that hurt, but it doesn't separate us from the divine. And that's what they want us to know and recognize today in this message. So the very last paragraph says, we are always a part of your experiences. As angels, as guides, we are forever part of your experience. There is never a time when you are alone. And this is the remembrance that we bring to you this day with much love, with much compassion, and with much comfort. And this we say, goodbye. This message just feels so good. It's so comforting. It's so compassionate. It's just this divine remembering of who we are. At our core, we are divine light. We will return to divine light. All will return to divine light. We are not separate. That is the illusion of our experience here. I'm rereading the book by Lorna Byrne. If you're not familiar with her, she's the angel lady. Her first book was, hang on a second, it's going to come to me. Her first book was Angels in My Hair, and she talks about growing up and always being able to see angels around her and sense angels around her and communicate with the angels around her. But I think it's her third book. I may be wrong, but I think it was her third book that's called Love. Sorry, what's it called? Love from Heaven? I think that's the name of it. Um, I'm going to look it up just real quickly because I have it right here. Love from Heaven. Yep. Lorna Byrne. Lorna Byrne. Byrne. Beautiful book. And it's all about the love and how we learn love and how our angels and guides, specifically how our angels and guides are surrounding us and reminding us of love every day, reminding us to love our life. I've had this experience recently where, in fact, I was just texting some friends about it before I got on here about this idea of like, nobody's even going to remember who I am 100 years from now. And so the people that come on and they're experiencing pain in their own life. And so they come on and they say kind of mean things sometimes, like, on social media, or even the people that no one and we think that they should love us and be sharing love with us, and they say mean things to us. They're saying that out of hurt. And I've had this experience recently where I've kind of been a little bit laughing at myself, going, no one's even going to remember who I am 100 years from now. I'm not going to care about. I mean, I care because I want people to feel better. I want them to not be in pain. I want them to not be um, in pain so that they're sharing pain. But the reality is, when I leave this life, it's not going to matter. It really isn't going to matter. And 100 years from now, no one's even going to remember who I am. So my whole goal in this life, the older I get, like the more I think my main goal in life is to have fun and share love. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm sharing love. I'm sharing love from the angelic collective who call themselves the Council of Wisdom. And we're all here to enjoy ourselves. So bring more joy into your life. Remember that you are always surrounded by the angels. Bring more love into your life, love for yourself, love for your life, love for others, and enjoy yourself. And that is an extension of their message today. So enjoy your life. Have a beautiful week. Share what stood out to you in this message today. I love your comments. I'm so grateful for them. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you next time. Bye.